Tonight, the media is going nuclear. They're melting down in a way we've never seen before. Why? Because your president dared to stand up to the North Korean dictator, Kim Jong-un, who's threatening us. Now, we'll explain how hating Trump is the media's drug. They're drug addicts, complete addicts. And we'll show you the most insane, unhinged examples, the latest liberal media freakout. Plus, media giddy tonight over the back and forth between President Trump and Steve Bannon. And, of course, that's who they are. They love infighting. My exclusive take tonight. All of that and more in our breaking news opening monologue. All right, we start tonight an important monologue on the mainstream media. Here is what I want to explain to you. Hating President Trump is their drug in the media. And by the way, to them, it's more addictive than heroin and crack cocaine. Let me explain. Because in their liberal media bubble, a Trump tweet literally sends them into orbit. Alka-Seltzer in water, they bubble and fizz every day. And it's like a dopamine rush to their brains. The drug is that powerful, they can't duplicate it any other way. Let me tell you how it works. President Trump, he usually tweets to get around the media and their twisted, distorted fake news coverage, and rightly so goes directly to you, the American people, and a lot of times with humor they can't recognize. And the media then promptly proceeds. They rush to the airwaves and they try and outdo each other, feigning more outrage than the other one. Here's the latest example. Just watch how the media reacted to President Trump's recent tweets. You can't make this up.
16 tweets today to start the new year, some of them deeply disturbing. These are the messages from a person who is not well, from a leader who is not fit for office.
This is language that would have been rejected from the script of Dr. Strangelove. We can't begin to normalize this. This is dangerous, this is childish, this is unpresidential, it's not befitting the leader of the free world.
None of this normal, none of this acceptable, none of this frankly stable behavior.
This is so far outside the principles and the norms of presidential behavior that we are in an outer space realm here. This is what happens in authoritarian countries.
Trump needs to be medicated and hospitalized at this point, or he is going to just kill all of us.
He is not merely being cavalier with a threat about nuclear war. He's being cavalier in a way that makes him seem demented and deranged.
Perhaps never have we seen a man whose profound sexual and masculine insecurities are literally threatening to annihilate the planet.
Really? President Trump is demented. Let's see. Because he's responding to a nuclear threat from North Korea. Now, not only are they all a bunch of sheep, you notice they all say pretty much the same thing, but they're drug addicts in this sense. They crave their next Trump tweet. They need their fix. And if for some reason there's not a tweet within 24 hours, there's not a comment, there's no fake outrage, well, then they have to latch on to something that'll satisfy their craving. They just race back to their gateway drug. Oh, Trump, Russia, Trump, Russia. But with the Trump-Russia collusion story now falling flat, that's kind of like the equivalent of methadone. It's only a maintenance drug that barely separates them from like a padded room in some asylum somewhere. And for over a year, you have been subjected to Russia, 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 collusion, collusion, collusion. Only thing missing are facts, facts, facts. And the media desperately repeating those words daily, hoping that somehow, if they say it enough, it's going to come true. Here's the problem. It's not true. There is to date zero evidence President Trump colluded with Russia. None whatsoever. It doesn't exist. So the media now, they need a new conspiracy theory that they can pass off as news to get themselves, well, back on their drug, get hooked again. And it's actually, in one sense, it's sad because these people really need help. They have no, let's say, they don't want to adhere to truth anymore. That's a sad thing. Now, if you think about it for a second, does the media ever, when you watch the news, do they ever talk about anything Donald Trump that he did is good? Any good news? Any good news with the economy? Or are they just obsessed with tearing this president down because they never thought he'd win? Do they ever talk about the American people, solutions for health care, getting people out of poverty, off of food stamps, back to work? I never hear it. If the media really cared about anything of real importance, then guess what? They'd have to alter their constructed worship, sites of Obama during his failed presidency. And by the way, they would have, in those years, seen the millions of more Americans in poverty and on food stamps. They would have stood up for you, but liking Obama was more important. Now, President Trump's tweets about North Korea, let's get into this. They are perfect examples. What did the president say that is so dangerous that you see them unleashed like they did in the last 24 hours? Let's see. He stood up to a two-bit murdering dictator, and he called him Little Rocket Man. And he said that the United States is not going to be intimidated by his little red button on his desk. And for the media, that kind of leadership, well, they don't like it. It's not good enough, since what they're used to and what they personally support are the policies of appeasement. So we have to ask, is there anything that President Trump could do to make the media ever happy in this situation with Kim Jong-un? By the way, a situation Bill Clinton put us in. Now, the press probably wants President Trump. Maybe they'd be happy if he got down on his knees and kissed Kim Jong-un's ring on his little hand. Then they'd be calling for him to get the Nobel Prize. Or maybe the media would be happy if Trump gave billions of dollars in fuel subsidies to North Korea like Bill Clinton did. Or maybe Trump should suck up and grovel to Kim Jong-un, just like Bill Clinton sucked up and groveled to Kim Jong-il, his father. Then Trump could go on TV like Bill Clinton did and tell you, the American people, a massive lie like this.
This is a good deal for the United States. North Korea will freeze and then dismantle its nuclear program. South Korea and our other allies will be better protected. The entire world will be safer as we slow the spread of nuclear weapons. South Korea, with support from Japan and other nations, will bear most of the cost of providing North Korea with fuel to make up for the nuclear energy it is losing. And they will pay for an alternative power system for North Korea that will allow them to produce electricity while making it much harder for them to produce nuclear weapons. The United States and international inspectors will carefully monitor North Korea to make sure it keeps its commitments. Only as it does so will North Korea fully join the community of nations.
Could Bill Clinton have been more wrong? Or how about this one? Maybe the media, maybe they'd be ecstatic, really, really happy if President Trump sucked up to the Iranian mullahs. Maybe if President Trump sent them another $150 billion like Obama did and begged on his hands and knees, pretty please, here's billions of dollars. Just please stop saying you're going to wipe us off the face of the earth. Please stop saying you'll destroy Israel. Please stop burning our flags. That's what they want in the press? That's pathetic. It's weak, and they're not doing a service to you, the American people. I've said this many times. They are lazy, and they are overpaid, and they are a bunch of sycophants that all retweet each other in their little media bubble. The sky is literally, falling down for these people, all because Donald Trump dared to stand up and challenge a murdering dictator. The media lives in this bubble. These people are stepping all over themselves. They want to all outdo each other. It's like a competition. Let's see who can be the most anti-Trump. And if one liberal media personality says President Trump is demented, then another has to step in and say, no, he's really, really demented. And he's really, really a big liar. And it goes on from there. See what I mean by drug addiction? It's like initiation into their hate Trump club. And to be a member, you just have to hate everything. And it's happening every single hour of every single day on every single news channel and in the mainstream media nonstop. That's all they do. That's their go-to. And that is what now the media in this country has become. And it's why I've been telling you since 2007 and 8, journalism in America is dead. It's done. These so-called journalists, they don't care about truth anymore. Facts be damned. Evidence be damned. Because if they did care about truth, then they'd actually start doing their jobs. Because we know of crimes committed. They'd be investigating massive scandals that are staring them right in the face. They could win their Pulitzer Prizes they're dreaming about. None of what we're about to tell you is important to the media, but it all should be. They're not doing their job. It's about the system of justice in America. It's now hanging in the balance, equal application under the law. The media ignores this. Why? because they need their Trump hate addiction fix. You know, an explosive report, The Hill's John Solomon, revealing that written FBI documents show agents working on the Clinton email investigation all believe laws were broken. In addition, 17 witnesses interviewed after James Comey already drafted the exoneration statement of Hillary. The fix was in. It was rigged. It was exoneration before investigation. We have even more proof. Does the media even care about it? Or are they spreading their Trump-Russia conspiracy theories? Is that more important after a year of no facts and a year of anonymous sources? How about, Trump-hating and Clinton-loving FBI agent Peter Strzok and his FBI lawyer girlfriend, Lisa Page, completely trashing President Trump on text messages? They called him a lonesome human being, an idiot. And Strzok and Page also talked about an insurance policy in Andy's office, which we believe is the deputy FBI director, Andrew McCabe, in case Donald Trump won the election. And remember, it was Strzok and Comey. They're the ones that changed the verbiage in the exoneration letter before the investigation was done. None of this is important to the media. It should be. There's special counsel Robert Mueller, his merry team of Democratic generous donors. They don't donate to Republicans, 50 grand to Democrats, including Hillary and Barack Obama. And of course, none of them gave to President Trump's campaign. One of Mueller's lead investigators, Janie Ray, actually represented Clinton and the Clinton Foundation in 2015. You can't get a bigger conflict of interest. Nothing from the media. And we have Mueller's top prosecutor, the expert Andrew Weissmann, the professional he is. He led the extremely controversial obstruction of justice case against Arthur Andersen Accounting as part of the Enron scandal. He destroyed that company, cost tens of thousands of people their jobs, and was overturned in the U.S. Supreme Court in 05-9-0. Yeah, that's a great guy to put on your team. And then he also sent 4 Merrill Lynch executives to jail. Their convictions were also overturned. That case by the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Does the media not care about any of this? If it was a bunch of Republican donors and giving donations to Trump investigating Hillary Clinton, don't you think it would be the biggest story ever? Really? Now, next, of course, you have the demoted DOJ official Bruce Orr, his wife Nellie. Bruce Orr meets with members of Fusion GPS before and after the 2016 election. And Nellie, his wife, Nellie Orr worked for the firm that Hillary Clinton and the DNC paid to produce the fake, phony propaganda Russian anti-Trump dossier. And then finally, the FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, his wife Jill, gets 700 grand from a longtime Clinton ally. Remember, former Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe? Democrats, all that money given for a failed Virginia state Senate run, that is an astronomical sum in a Senate race in Virginia. These are all individually massive stories, not even mentioning Uranium One, about, let's see, bribery, extortion, money laundering, kickbacks, and they knew it before CFIUS, before 9 separate agencies approved of giving 20% of our uranium, knowing that Vladimir Putin's thugs were in America trying to get a foothold into the uranium industry in our country. We don't have enough. We need more. It's insane. Then you look at the money behind that. You have mountains of evidence here of wrongdoing. The media is not touching any of it. Why? Because the media is infatuated. They cannot control themselves anymore, and it's all about hating President Trump. It's kind of like a sickness. Doesn't have a cure, apparently never will. They can't see anything else. That is their singular focus. Even, by the way, they would prefer kissing the rings and backsides of dictators. The media is betraying you, the American people. Now, you would think the press, you'd think they'd have some sort of ethical compass, something that would move them towards truth. But they're now so corrupted, morally bankrupt, they hate any and everybody that doesn't do it their way. The media tonight, they're hyperventilating. Again, foaming at the mouth. The back and forth between President Trump, former White House advisor Steve Bannon. President Trump responding to comments Bannon apparently made in his soon-to-be released book by Michael Wolff. Here's the thing. The media loves Steve Bannon for the moment. They love when Republicans or conservatives are fighting and create a circular firing squad. In real life, they hate Bannon and they hate Trump. But they'll, right now they'll be supportive of Steve Bannon if they think he's advancing their cause. They love these intramural fights. They love palace intrigue. They love to analyze who's up, who's down. It's another example. The media's priorities are so screwed up. When do they ever talk about you? When do they ever talk about making your life better, your kids' lives better? Here's another thing that I've said before. Anyone who works in the White House, they're there to serve the country and the president. That's it, and the American people. And that should be the main goal. People asking me all day today, what do you think about, this? I think this. I think the agenda of the American people is point 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1,000. And that should be the focus of everybody. This isn't going to be a story in 48 hours. Instead of blowing this out of proportion, like the media always does, maybe they should be focused on this. Look at this painting. It's by John McNaughton, guy that's out in Utah. Great guy, great painter. I bought that original painting. See that guy sitting on the bench? He represents, that's called the Forgotten Man painting. That represents the forgotten men and women in this country. All those people in poverty, all those people on food stamps, all those people that don't have jobs. We should be focused on creating jobs, energy independence, securing our borders, fighting back against radical Islamists, rebuilding the military. That's where my focus is. Joining us now with reaction.